pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thanks. I'd like to thank everyone for coming to the meeting today. I'll call the meeting to order. Members here. Oh, Jared Baker is not here. Kerry Matthews, Charles Vance, Charles McCann. All right. I'd like to motion to approve the minutes of the special session of Lincoln County Commission meeting that was held on October 27, 2014 at 4:45 p.m.
So moved. Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
That being unanimous, the motion carries. Now we need a motion to approve the minutes of the special session of the Lincoln County Commission meeting that was held on November the 3rd, 2014 at 4 p.m.
Second.
Any further discussion? With that being unanimous, the motion carries. Oh, excuse me. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
With that being unanimous, the motion carries. There we go. Next is to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of the Lincoln County Commission meeting that was held on November the 6th, 2014 at 9 a.m.
So moved. I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
That being unanimous, the motion carries. Next, we have to approve the minutes of the regular session of Lincoln County Commission meeting that was held on November the 10th, 2014 at 9 a.m.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. That being unanimous, the motion carries. Next, we have public comment. It's a thank you letter from West Hamlin. I'd like to read that. This is from Ferrisburg, Mayor of West Hamlin. This is on behalf of myself, the West Hamlin Town Council, and the citizens of West Hamlin. I would like to thank you for the generous contribution towards the demolition of a bus stop building. Your donation of $5,000 will help tremendously with paying for the disposal costs. We'll remove the asbestos, well removal and asbestos removal and disposal. Thank you, Ferrisburg. There you go. Next, do we have anyone to sign in under public comment? Michael Moffitt?
I just wanted to see on the discussion for the next part. We're talking about the PSD and the appointment of board members. And I know you got an application from Brenda, and I just wanted to rise in support of her and ask if you really consider her in that board. She's done a lot for the community there. She's been really active in following up on the PSD issues, and I just wanted to let you know I would love to have you guys support her.
Thank you, Delegate Moffitt. Okay. We don't have anyone else for public comment, so let's move on to discussion of concern, possible action. Rick McDowell regarding the Hart septic system.
Yes.
Come on down.
No handouts.
Oh,
I'll speak from the back of the room. I just want to review, one of our problems at Harts is that it's still listed as a direct discharge system with the state of West Virginia. It's been that way since the commission purchased the building in July 2013. And of course, that system not only doesn't work, but there haven't been any samples taken. So that potentially puts the commission in a position where they're violating the Federal Clean Water Act, which we don't want to have happen. The holdup at this point is that I still haven't gotten anything from the Harts Community Center Board about the beauty salon. And that has, trying to take care of that could mean an extra $7,000 of additional costs just to set up a specific system for that, plus a pumping fee that could be weekly, it could be monthly. Currently, a pumping fee down there is $285. So I guess I'd recommend that the commission encourage the board down there to get some sort of a recommendation to you all about how we ought to.
you could send a letter.
Yeah, I motion we send them a letter asking to give us some direction on what they want to do about this. And in the letter, put that, we stand in possible violation of the law, and we're trying to resolve the issue. And to do that, we need their direction on how we want to proceed.
that'd be
I'll
great.
second that.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That being unanimous, the motion carries. Next, we have Larry Stutler regarding the resolution supporting the transfer of property to the Department of Highway.
Thank you, Commissioners. It's a simple resolution that basically underscores action you've already taken at about 2 meetings ago. This project has to be presented to the Board of Public Works for their approval, and they require not only the minutes from the meeting where you approve the project, but they require a resolution in their review process. So I've provided that resolution to Mary for your all's action.
You read it in direct? All right. To be resolved by the Lincoln County Commission as follows, that the Lincoln County Commission enters into a deed with the West Virginia Department of Transportation, Division of Highways, in the form herein above set forth, that the President of the Lincoln County Commission be and is hereby authorized and directed to execute this deed on behalf of the Lincoln County Commission. Number 3, on a motion by,
I'll go ahead and make a motion to accept the resolution.
Second.
any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
That being unanimous, motion carries. So, Dr. Vance? Okay, thank you, Larry.
Thank you.
Next, we have Zach Browning with Region 2.
Good morning. I'm here today with some paperwork for the 10 Mile Creek Waterline Extension Project. I'm here with the final drawdown for the ARC grant funds. It is drawdown number 16 in the amount of $3,853.79. That goes to pay Region 2 Planning and Development Council for administrative work done to complete project paperwork wise. With that, I have the invoices from Region 2 and resolution in the financial form. And also I have the final performance report. This is what we submit to the West Virginia Development Office to officially close out the project on their end. They'll review everything, then they'll send us a final closeout letter, which will put this whole project totally done.
All right. So we need a motion to, give you
You would-
authorization to sign?
Yeah, you would want to do the motion to pay this final resolution, and I guess also for the final performance report.
I'll make a motion to pay the resolution.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. And we need a motion for the performance report?
I would think so.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we approve the performance report.
Yes.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
That being unanimous, motion carries.
And one other thing for today, with at the meeting on October 16th, I presented the environmental review record for the Francis Creek project. Development Office found a couple errors that I made on a couple of the sheets that you signed, Mr. Matthews. I needed to correct the date. I had the wrong date on there. So I brought those back for your signature today. You made a motion at the October 16th meeting. I don't know if you need to make another motion today to sign the corrected forms or not.
Okay. Hey, I got a quick question.
Sure.
What's the status of the Lower Mud River project?
The Lower Mud River project, we are still waiting to hear if we got a small cities block grant awarded to us from this funding cycle. If not, from what I understand from Rick Roberts, the engineer, using the USDA money, and all the other grant funds that we've received so far, we're going to start the project this coming year and go as far as we can with the money we have, keep applying for the other grant funding to hopefully get the whole project completed. So it's USDA has kind of said we can, with help of Mr. Rayhawk, he got us some more funds, and the condition was that we had to have a project come to fruition. So that's why we just basically, we have to start something this year using those funds. Hopefully we get the other federal funds so we can.
So it's gonna be in different stages, basically?
Basically, it's gonna go in phases now as opposed to the one giant project at once.
We're gonna miss Mr. Rayhall on these water projects.
Hey, what about the status of the alcohol bulger?
Alcohol Boulder, I believe they've opened bids They should be awarding bids either next month or this month. I'll have to check on that for you. That's actually not a project I administer directly, so I don't have the most up-to-date information on it. But I can definitely let you know. Mike Webb.
It's only two ones.
Yeah, it's on to
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks. Next, we have review and appoint two members of the Lincoln PSD. Gentlemen, in your packets, I believe you've had a chance to review that. There's two applicants on here that I believe had, whenever we were dealing with the water issues, one is Brenda Eskew and Mike Fioravanti. I move that we appoint Brenda Eskew for the remaining term of the Gary McMillan term, I should say. The term for Gary McMillan, which was from this year until 2020, be for a 6-year appointment. Motion on the floor.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
That being unanimous, motion carries. Next, I'd like to move to appoint Mike Fioravanti to the remaining term which will be the Ron Gregory term, which will end on June of 2015. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
That being unanimous, motion carries. All right.
If you guys, as you go through this, if you need any help, we're always here, because I know you've been through it personally, but we stand to help you when we can get the ship up right there.
Now, you have a board meeting tomorrow.
Tonight,
Tomorrow. I think they moved it to Friday. Is this Mr. Gillenwater right here? I think he's working down there. I think they moved the board meeting to Friday.
Friday, 4 p.m. in an effort to give the two new board members an opportunity to gather some information before they walk into a meeting called.
That sounds good.
and do we need any paperwork of any sort?
The only thing I was gonna make comments on is the bank, you need to make sure that you're that you work with the bank and getting your signatures authorized and things of that nature, because I think we had a problem with that before. So make sure that that occurs so that you guys can sign your things you need to sign and things like that, and then get the process there.
And you need to go down to the clerk's office. I think we need to swear you in. Okay?
Okay, do we do that now, or?
Yeah, we'll do that in a little bit. Oh, yeah, let the record reflect. Carol Baker, the county clerk, is present. All right. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.
All right. Next on the agenda, it says changing fuel cards from the WEX bank to the fleet fuel card.
There's a handout in there. The fleet fuel card is connected into the state purchasing card. You get the state tax, the fuel tax rebate, and you also get, it goes into the, to the whole pot of what, when we use the P card, and also we get that rebate as well. Beth Thompson with the purchasing card division there in state, she said she'd come down and explain it. There's several Hamlins, they use this card. It's just,
Is that what she recommends?
she's out of town today, or she would have been here, but she said she could come to the next one if you needed it.
All right. I move that we change the fuel cards to the fleet fuel card. There's a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
That being unanimous, motion carries. And next, we have the Pepsi machine.
That's another one of ours. We're having trouble, I know that seems small to you all probably, but the Pepsi company no longer accepts the method of payment that we use. So, Randy, the maintenance guy, has checked at Sam's and other places. They have a refurbished Pepsi machine or soda machine in general for $1,500 that you can purchase, and then we can fill it with Pepsi or Coke, kind of same way we own this machine down here. I know it doesn't seem, it's kind of trivial, but we can't pay Pepsi right now, and we're having issues, and you can't just buy bottles to put in the Pepsi machine. So we'd like to buy them, or
Sounds pretty complicated.
I know it's very difficult some days here,
That's a
but
lot of people.
actually, you wouldn't believe the people that really want their pops.
All right, we have a motion on the floor that we go ahead and buy this Pepsi machine from Sam's or the Coke machine, whatever. I'll second that. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. That be unanimous, motion carries. All right. Next, we have outside lighting at the McCorkle Community Center. Mr. Dallas Clay brought this to my attention. They would like to have a dusk to dawn light out back down there at the community center. It's going to cost $14.50 a month. And I would recommend that we do that.
Motion to do so.
There's a motion.
Second.
There's a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. That be unanimous, motion carries. Next, we're moving to unfinished business. Leroy Burgess with the Helping Hands Food Pantry came by the last meeting, and he was talking about needing some money for the food pantry. And I tabled this so we can get some clarification on different things I think that was being presented to us. One of the things that was presented to us was that there were schools in our county not doing a backpack program, okay? And the reason that they needed the money was because they were going to try to do a backpack program. After checking, Duval, PK through A, has a backpack program. Hamlin, PK through A, also has a backpack program. And West Hamlin has a backpack program. So, I don't believe the information that we received was accurate. So therefore, I would just like to pass on this item. All right. Do you all have any questions, discussion about that? Okay, all right, moving on. Next, we have Rick Helton regarding Perry Allen. Rick's not here, but I can impart some information. I talked to Rick, and he basically stated that I know that we were going to take action regarding the violation of the ordinance, and he went down and I guess spoke with Mr. Allen, and Mr. Allen has since came into compliance. So that's good. Everything's been fixed, and that was and Rick did a great job on that. All right. Next, we are looking at new business. Gentlemen, you see the new business?
Last motion.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I would like to, on the last motion is to approve, to sit on the dilapidated building committee to serve as a fire chief. I spoke to the chief there at West Hamlin. You're familiar with him. What's his name? Phillips Gaines, that's it, Phillips Gaines. I talked to him the other night when we were actually talking about the fire levy. And he was on the board before. I asked him if he wouldn't care to sit on that board. He agreed. So I'd like to add Phillips Gaines in there if that's okay with you.
I'll motion.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second to approve Phillips Gaines to sit on the dilapidated building committee. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That being unanimous, motion carries. Now I'd like to have a motion to approve the new business.
I'll second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That being unanimous, new business moves. Good. Next we have Mr. McCann, concerns and communications.
We've got a couple items. First of all, I want to start out with recognizing Mr. Moffett, but at the same time, request that he not forget us on the needs of Lincoln County.
I'm here.
Request, since I probably won't be here the time you take office, ask the county commissioners sitting here, and Ms. Harrelson will be seated, to work with you, let you know what the needs are, and commit that to writing and see what you can do. It's tough on the first time, but since what party's got the majority, we expect great things. Also, just like to really take just a second, and I probably not even do this again, who knows? You know, I come with mixed feelings and mixed blessings. By having one more month to serve, I've been really enjoy 98, maybe 99% of the things that you do here. There's always things that don't sit well, but that's your responsibility part. But I've enjoyed it and appreciate the opportunity from the people of Lincoln County to just provide me with the opportunity of doing something that I really like to do. It's not every day in life you get to do that. And this has been certainly a mixed bag and a pleasure all the way around. And it's one of those things that you can't do without the support of the people, and that includes voters and the people that you work with. So it is a challenge, but I look at the county commission as being the most important job of elected officials of any county, because they deal with so many different issues. And where it comes to appointing board members, as we just did, for various committees and whatever, but just being responsible for the people's money. I mean, that's a county commission responsibility. You go out and talk to people, and what do you do? I said, well, first and most important job really is being a banker for the county, because all those dollars have to be looked at. It's our responsibility to divvy that up to elected officials, but at the same time, make sure they spend that money properly within the guidelines set out by the state and federal government. So it is it's a very important job, and I'm just so thankful to have had the opportunity to do that. And maybe I've outlived my time. Been here 18 years, and it's one of those things that it was very hard for me to decide not to run again, but I think it was definitely the right choice looking at all the issues. So just again, thank you for permitting me to do that. Only other thing I have down is I serve on the board of the Lincoln Emergency Service, and we certainly out there have such an important role in Lincoln County, providing ambulance service to those in need, and especially those in unexpected need. And we met this week, a regular monthly meeting, and of course, the levy that just fell was one of the main issues that we talked about. But also, almost every meeting, we have a good director, and we have a good chairman of the board, which that's Mr. Holder. But you know, we don't always agree on stuff, but the person that we have in as director works so hard to find out what is the latest, what can we do to improve service in Lincoln County, and above all, what can we do to take care of the people's needs, making sure we have good people running those ambulances, make sure we have good medics on there. So we talked about issues, what could be done to make sure that this levy passes. And I don't think there's anything you can do to make sure, but I think there's things that we need to do to encourage people to think, what would it be like without? And so I know that anyone that has used the service knows how important it is. One of the things that we're doing out there that is extremely important is taking people to dialysis. 3 days a week, there's people that have to go, and the ambulance service provides that for a lot of people. And one of my neighbors lives down the bottom of the hill from me. She's down there 3 days a week, picking her up, taking her to dialysis. She's not able to do anything, nobody else to take care of her, but the ambulance service does that. And we just need to think about that. And I attended the meeting with the fire department people, and of course one of the ambulance people this week, looking at the fire levy and what could be done, and coming up with just a little bit better game plan. I think that's one of the issues that probably had some impact, is not having the best game plan, or at least not implementing the best game plan. And so I think the issues that affect whether it be ambulance or fire I think the people who operate those are gonna make sure that the public has a better information source as we get ready to ask the commission here at the next meeting to see if we could put that back on the ballot and come this 90 days or whatever it is, sometime in February or March. But I think it's all the people that operate, give all that volunteer time, particularly in fire departments, to get out there and just talk to their neighbors, let them know how important it is to have good equipment or good uniforms to wear, protective gear. One of the things that I go home and my wife will say, well, what'd you do at that meeting? I said, I just the usual stuff. And we didn't have any arguments. Everybody, was still making a little bit of money and that kind of thing. But this time when I went home, she didn't even ask, I told her that it's the equipment that you have to keep getting better stuff. And of course, Commissioner Banks wired this stuff, but not me or the average person. But this week, when our director came back from a meeting at a conference she'd been to, she had bought 8 vein finders. And I thought, well, what is that? And she went through and demonstrated, actually went and got a mannequin and showed some stuff on different things, but they got a little device out that if you're like me, you don't like to be stuck none at all, but no more than once. And this vein finder, and they have to use all the time on these animals, you just put it on a little gadget about like a cell phone, and you move it till you find exactly where that vein is. Then it's got a slit where you can just slide it right into there. Alan, I'm sure is familiar with that stuff. But to me, that was, it was $100 and some a piece, I believe. And to me, well money spent for the person that gets the stuff right. And just different things. The other item she just demonstrated to us that, without money you can't have these things. But was a I don't remember the name of it. I have to call on Alan, probably help me. But the thing goes down through your trachea to make sure that you have the tube running properly when you have to give oxygen to people to get into the lungs. Commissioner Banks knows about it. They brought a mannequin out and they demonstrated that to us as a board member, how this works. But somebody got paid to have that piece of new equipment. But it's almost like to me, it's like a miracle. It's something that I never even thought about, but didn't even realize it was such an issue until it's put on the table. And with that said, I think that's where the responsibility and obligation of not only the board members but all the employees need to make sure that the people who vote, those community people, understand that we're providing a good service. But at the same time, it has, if you want to monitor and take care of the best, make sure you live till you get to the hospital, then we gotta have money to operate on. And I don't believe that either of those agencies waste any money. Not that, they may buy something that we don't agree with, but they know more about it than we do, or at least more than I do. And so it's just important, I think, that we get the message out there and make sure that we get this levy passed and it doesn't cost any more taxes, it just maintains the same. The assessor pointed out to me at the firehouse the other evening how it works. And so it's just a matter of, I call it pennies, to getting results of what we have out here in the county. And again, it just takes us to make it happen. Nobody else can make it happen. Only thing else I have is Mr. Gilmwater certainly needs to be recognized, taking on the responsibility of director of PSD. He told me a while ago that how old I was. When he graduated from Duval, I was superintendent of schools, so that's been a few years ago. But I welcome you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I think I want to make a couple of comments about Lincoln PSD. First of all, I think I want to give a shout out to everybody over that way that helped and signed petitions and become actively involved, because that's the way we make things better for everybody. Is when we see a problem that's developed over there, that people bind together and work to solve that problem. Now, I would like to thank Mr. McMillan and Mr. Gregory for resigning. because I think that expedited that process tremendously. It helped us get to where we could do what we did today, to get this thing, the ship uprighted and go in the right direction. And I'm sure you guys will work as hard as you can to do that. And one of the positive things I think comes out of this is that we got good quality people sitting on the board now. You know, before, when we advertise for these boards, sometimes we'll have one person apply, or two people apply for two positions. And that puts us in a very precarious position, because that's the only people that want to serve, even if we don't feel that they're at the level they should be as far as what they can and can't do. And there again, it's hard to tell what kind of job someone's gonna do before they start doing it. And with that, I get to welcome Mr. Delegate Moffitt. And I would like to congratulate him on his win. I would like to ask that he help us with these water projects as best as possible, help us make connections with his party that will put us in connection with Senator D. Capito and those people that, and the Evan Jenkins and things that need to be helping us do things, continue to do these water projects for these people in Lincoln County. I think it's very important. And I don't think, as long as they're successful, I don't care whether they're Democrat, Republican, or Independent, or non-party. I mean, I think that we all have a stake in what we do here in this county, and those people that are going to serve the public should be people that want to do what's best for our people. And so I look forward to working with Delegate Moffitt, as well as continue to work with Delegate Eldridge in trying to get monies for the things we need. And what we have talked a little bit about is we'll probably get together and give you a list of things that we'd like to see helped with, and work with you in trying to get these things, as many of these things taken care of as we can. The other thing I wanted to mention is I'm sure that you all seen the audit report on Hatfield-McCoy Trail Systems, and I sat on that board of directors. I've had communications with the executive director, and he's been sending us information concerning some of the audit findings. You know, we have all encouraged him to come into compliance as soon as possible and do those things that are necessary to get the Trail Authority in compliance with the auditor's findings. The other thing I wanted to make comment on is when Commissioner McCann was talking about EMS, and when it gets down to it, you know, if this lady that has the dialysis can't get the dialysis, she dies. If we don't have someone that can get access to a vein to give people medicine as they're transporting them, they die. I mean, there's no other end to that. And I think that's what the people that don't have to deal with emergencies till they have one don't realize that until it's too late. And it's up to us to make sure that we continue the funding for these things to allow us to be able to take care of people and keep them from dying. And you know, this is the most important. That's, you know, that's the worst thing that could happen to any of us, as far as I'm concerned, is if we let things go to the point to where we die, not because it's not something that's available to help us, but because we don't have the funding to get it to the people here. You know, being in a rural area and being in a geographically diverse area that we have, if there's no other way to do this. I mean, and I'm sure, having, you know, worked with the EMS from the time it first came into being as the County Ambulance Authority and things of that nature, this is probably the worst setback that we could have happen. You know, we've developed stations in different areas of the county so we could have good response time and stay within the golden hour of the things that happen. But in doing what we're doing now, I think that I don't know the particulars of how they're dealing with this and things of that nature, but if this is not passed, you may have response times that'll be a half hour to 45 minutes longer in this county. And if you've only got an hour to deal with anyway, we're behind the 8 ball starting out. So we need to all search ourselves, so when this thing comes up in February and March, we need to have an organized effort to make sure that we continue to provide these services that save people's lives. The same thing with the fire. You know, if you don't have firemen, you don't get people cut out of wrecked vehicles. You don't have transport in time. And we're all looking at what we can do to make this a better place to live, or to keep even the status quo with what we have now. because we can't go forward if don't have anything to go forward with. And I just want everybody to, when you think about this, and you think, well, I don't know this lady that's getting dialysis, but it might be your mom or dad, it might be your grandma or grandma. And, so there's a lot of things that, it might be your children. And if we don't have these things available, it's too late when it happens if it's not there. We've got to anticipate and continue to support these programs. We live in the 21st century. We should be able to have these things available to these people here. And it's not, as Mr. McCann said, it's pennies to do what we're talking about doing. And, and I appreciate his support and President Matthews' support, the assessor's support. I think all the elected officials know the necessity of doing what we're talking about doing. And so I really want this to be, as we go through the holidays, we should be thinking those things that we usually think during the holidays, but we should also be thinking about February or March, whenever this thing runs. We need to be out in the front telling people it's not going to cost them any more than what they pay now, and that it can save lives, and it could be their own. And on a lighter note, I would like everyone to notice Mr. McCann's dressed in WVU blue and gold.
Just forgot.
And I think he looks really good in those colors. That's all.
I won't hang it up and keep it.
Is it real on purpose?
Yeah.
Did you lose a bet?
Doc, I thought it was mafia yellow.
Does that give me any brownie points?
That's fine.
Hey, it is if we get to his water problem.
Hey, listen, just to reiterate on what Mr. McCann and Dr. Vance, what they said, you really don't know what you have until you lose it. A lot of times you take things for granted until you need it. And that's the situation we're in with the fire and ambulance service. So talk to your friends and family. Let's get out and support that. It's a really big deal to a lot of people. I would also like to thank Brenda and Mike for stepping up. I know you've inherited a mess, but really confident that you all will be able to go in and straighten things out. But anyway, stick around. I have some paperwork for you that we received from the Public Service Commission yesterday. All right, a document, it's like 13 pages, and I'll print that out for you all, and you all can take that tomorrow and go ahead and get started. All right. Some other good news. Our 911 director is here, Alan Holder. I was informed that we received, 500 and, what was that?
567,000.
I think it's another photo op right here, guys. Come on. This is the check for the cell phone tower at the Yawkey site. This is the second check this year. Okay.
About $1.1 million total between the two projects.
Y'all come on in here.
So TV guy.
I'm moving over there.
Smile, Alan.
You'll see.
Very good, very good.
We'll put that up on the wall right there.
Good job, Al.
Thank you. Just to give you all an update where we stand, we completed construction work before the bad weather got started on tower site number 1. So the grading down at the 911 center is completed. I was kind of concerned that they would mess up our little park area behind the building, but they did a real good job of grading the soil and then restoring it. They went ahead and seeded it, mulched it back to where it was. We're looking at the week after Thanksgiving, them coming in with the drilling rig, and they'll be drilling 35-foot holes in the ground where the tower legs will set and pouring the concrete that week. And then we will see the steel
start to be delivered on the 15th of November, 15th of January. So we're hoping that everything's going to coincide with the Yawkey site, so the construction crew can move from one site to the other site and just continue to build as they're here in the county. But things are happening very quickly. Tower foundations were completed last week. We've gotten all the environmental stuff that's been completed. Believe it or not, I had no idea what we were in for with the environmental, but every Indian tribe that might have ever graced these lands had to be checked with and approved that there wasn't anything there of historical value that we were damaging or destroying. In addition, the foundation has been done, and the building, 2 buildings, a prefab building with prefab air heat units, everything. Both of those are already completed and setting on the lot in Minden, Louisiana, ready for transportation as soon as we're ready to take delivery of them.
Let me ask you something concerning the tower that's in existence at Harts. Could a carrier come in and put their services on that tower now?
That tower was constructed robust enough for a carrier to do so.
What would be your suggestions as far as how to proceed in contacting the carriers? I know we've done it before, but is there anything that you have?
AT&T has been down there and taken videos of the site before, and I have been told that AT&T is waiting for some regulatory things to take place on the federal level where they merge with DirecTV before they stick their arm out and do any additional acquisitions of tower sites across the country.
Would we not also have to put like another tower in to help triangulate for that tower?
Well, they indicated that they did not like to have pockets of service within a geographic area, and they would like to have another tower somewhere between there and Chattanville, so that if somebody makes a call in Chattanville, that call can be carried all the way into Harts. People don't just make a call and then it drop on them.
How far does this tower reach to what you guys, the new one we put up here at Hamlin?
It's going to cover significantly over toward Yawkey. I hope that it will cover as far as the other site will cover this direction. Both sites are 400 feet. That's considerably taller than any tower that we've got in the county. They're huge sites, I think 67 tons of steel. They're going to be very large structures. There's no doubt that once equipment is placed on that tower, that's going to cover the dead spot that we have once you leave Hamlin proper and start toward Yawkey or start toward Route 34. It's going to cover that significantly. I've been in contact with Verizon, and we've sent documents. It's called 1A, which is a surveyor's report of the actual longitude, latitude, elevation, everything to them to assess what they want to do with those sites. It is my plans, once we get a little bit further in this project and have some nice slicks, to, if I have to contract with someone or find somebody locally that actually can do us some advertising slicks. You know, we've now gotten ourselves in a position where we have some very, very premium vertical real estate, as we want to call it, and actually start to market those sites. And now we've got not only the site at Harts, but we will market all 3 of those sites collectively. And until the Public Service Commission tells me no, it is my intent that we get these 2 built. We'll find another spot in the county and we'll build another site. Eventually we'll have enough towers that we can cover them.
Will this tower reach, say we put a tower on the mountain between Mud River and the Guyandotte River, say up around Fez or up in that, will it reach that? It should reach that.
It is very difficult to tell you that because of the topography of the land. I mean, you have to punch in the elevation into a computer and the elevation of the tower, and they look at each single mountain peak.
But now, let me ask you something. If it has an eyesight to that tower, is there a limit in the range till it can get to that tower?
You're looking at about 12 miles from site to site that they need to have in order to be able to send microwave between those sites. And one of the reasons we originally looked at about a 360-foot tower here at the 911 center, and 360 foot did not give us the line of sight to Yawkey that we needed to have, so we had to elevate it to 400 feet in order to get the microwave path to Yawkey. So sometimes they use helicopters to fly the paths, but in most cases you allow 90 feet for trees, and then you take a map and you plot the distances to make sure that you've got a good line of sight. But you've gotta have line of sight in order to connect the towers with each other.
Hey, I appreciate everything that you've been doing.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Al.
And one other thing about the levy, I don't think anybody realizes that voted no what the impact of this would be.
That's right.
But, you know, a lot of us have been around for many, many years, and I was able to preserve some of the records of the 911 center back in our first year of operation, which was 1991. And the footprint that EMS has in this county now compared to the footprint that it had in 1991 is significantly different. And I think Doc Vance could attest to the differences that we've seen. In 1991, we relied on probably 75% volunteers, and we relied on raising money and spending our resources begging and asking for money from the community. And now, over the last 20 years, we've been able to focus toward providing ambulance service in the county. And I have someone on my staff that's going to sit down and physically, back in 1991, all of our records were paper. So we're going to pull up those records of those ambulance calls and look at the response times that we saw in 1991 and compare those to the response times that we're seeing today. And I can assure you that if it took you 20 minutes to get an ambulance last week where you lived, it took you 40 minutes in 1991. And it was because people came from their home to pick up that ambulance. People came from other locations because people had to work somewhere. They couldn't work at an ambulance service in this county. So it's going to make a significant
When
difference.
Doc Banks worked on it, he worked out a funeral.
Yeah. It was a- Well, I actually, you know, Stickler had a hearse that he converted to take people into the hospital, and I've rode in that hearse before we, and that's when I said, well, we need a county ambulance authority.
Well, you know-
But I will make comment that last week at Guyan Valley, we had 2 patients one morning, one with a possible MI and one with a dissecting aortic aneurysm, that possibly one of those could have died without that kind of response time, but we had 2 ambulances there within 10, 15 minutes of when we called 911.
People don't realize we can do now more in the back of the ambulance than you could do in a hospital emergency room 5 years ago. The technology is much better. The paramedics are by far better trained than, you know, it used to be a 90-hour class and you could go out and give somebody oxygen. Now it's a college degree. It's a much greater certification. But the point I'm trying to make is that when you have to call a funeral home to get an ambulance, and that's where we were, and if the funeral home doesn't hurry, it doesn't get there very quick, we know what the outcome is. It just always was an oxymoron.
They make more money.
Why did you call the funeral home to save your life? That just didn't make sense to me.
Yeah, thanks, Al.
Thanks, Al. A couple other things I'd like to mention. Went to the Lincoln EDA meeting, it was yesterday? Day before yesterday, I don't know, something like that. Anyway, at the EDA meeting, we authorized for Larry to put together a wastewater plan for our county. And that is to provide services, actually try to set up public, districts so that we can start raising money for sewage, all right, in all of the areas of the county. And we also set up or authorized the Lincoln PSD, no, not the Lincoln, authorized the Lincoln EDA to set up a PSD for Allen Creek, for the wastewater treatment center, and to start going after funds for sewage for Allen Creek, Cold River, and Portland. So that's kind of what the EDA will be working on. Once we get that PSD set up, there's already engineering schematics for a system, and what we need to do is start soliciting money. I appreciate that. I just want you to know that. Ladies and gentlemen, and there's something else I think that was mentioned. There may be a retailer coming into Yachty's. A retailer. But anyway,
And before we adjourn, we do have dinner upstairs at 12,
Yeah.
so if you're hungry and want to stay around, we're there.
hey, I move we adjourn.
I'll say.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye.